So today I wanted to talk about my current abilities, sort of how far I've come doing AJAT. Last video I talked about what led up to me starting AJAT and why I wanted to learn Japanese. Today I'm going to talk about what I did since then until now. I don't remember exactly the first thing I saw about AJAT. Maybe I went on the website and looked up some stuff afterwards, but I do distinctly remember watching Matt versus Japan's 3-hour AJAT video. And after watching that, I dived deep into the table of contents on the AJAT website. From that point, I kind of just started immersing. I watched stuff that I'd previously watched, like JoJo and other anime, and just turned the subtitles off. So I already knew what was going on in those shows. It made it a little bit more enjoyable because I had a higher level of comprehension. Yeah, so I found that part pretty easy to get into. It was fun to see that first bit of progress. A little kind of discouraging because it's like, oh, I've studied for so long and I can barely understand what's going on in this episode of anime. But being able to start parsing out words and stuff like that was really motivating. Yeah, so I would keep reading the website. I probably read the articles in the table of contents like 2 or 3 times each at this point. Every time you read it, you're getting some new information that maybe your brain just kind of discarded while you're reading it. It's really interesting how that works. Anyways. And so previously I came back from Japan in February of 2020. One of the things I did there was I bought a bunch of books. I bought like Majo no Takyubin, which is like Kiki's delivery service. I bought the first 3 volumes of Yotsuba, and I bought the first volume of JoJolion. So, I read something about how to read when you don't actually understand anything. And what I did is I took the first volume of JoJolion and looked up every single word I didn't understand, which happened a lot because I didn't understand pretty much anything at this point. So I'd look up all these words. It took a really long time, but because the content of that volume was so interesting to me and so much fun to do, it was not difficult at all to look up all these words. And I think that lesson instilled really early into the journey is a huge thing. The more fun the content is, the more you enjoy the content, it doesn't matter how difficult it is to understand it. You're just going to keep going because it's compelling. So over the first few months, I was kept doing RTK. I started sentence mining all this stuff that I was doing. I started sentence mining at this point because I had all this previous study that basically got me, the first 1,500 vocab words. I had these pre-made Anki decks that I used for my university courses. Essentially, I'm terrible at memorization, so I downloaded these Genki decks that took all the sentences from Genki and made Anki decks out of them because in order to get good marks in those classes, which is funny, those decks didn't actually really do anything for my Japanese. I guess they did something, but really the point of those kind of decks is to pass a course based on Genki, not to actually improve your Japanese. Anyways, I was taking a break from university because I had a co-op or an internship, and during that internship I basically just passively immersed like all day, every day. I think like I watched all of Breaking Bad, I watched a bunch of One Piece, but I didn't really like that, so I stopped probably like 30 episodes in. And one of the things here that's key is, well, I didn't really passively immerse with stuff that I'd done previously. And so a lot of the times I would like look up at something I was passively immersing in that I was really listening to the first time, and I'd be like, what the heck is going on? This is stupid. I don't like this. So that's another key is like, you got to passively listen to the stuff that you've already listened to so that passive stuff is actually enjoyable because you know what's going on. I think over the last year, I was really inconsistent with my active immersion. Some days I would be really burnt out from work, or I would always do Anki though. I would always do my Anki reps, but I would be kind of burnt out from doing Anki. I'm like, I don't want to do any of this. I just want to like play a video game I'll still passive immerse while I'm playing the video game, but like I just want to turn my brain off. So if there was one thing I would do differently, it would be try to enjoy the active immersion. Right now, I take breaks by immersing. I'm studying and I don't want to study. I'll literally pick up a manga or turn on an episode of an anime that I'm really into, and I'll just relax while I'm immersing. It's kind of like amazing. But it's not always that easy just to shift your mindset so easily like that. It's kind of hard to say exactly what you did. It was just like lots of passive immersion, a little bit of active immersion, a bit of reading, and a little bit before this point I'm at now, I went on eBay. This was probably around November, December. I went on eBay and I bought all the volumes for Steel Ball Run, like JoJo Part 7. I started reading them and I was like, oh man, this is so good. I love it. So it's now March. I'm just starting volume 19 now, which I guess it's like longish for something you really enjoy. But I've been reading other stuff like for Christmas, I asked my parents if they're going to get me anything, go on eBay. I give them a bunch of eBay links to a bunch of anime sets. And I think, yeah, they bought me GTO. My girlfriend for Christmas, she got me a bunch of volumes of Haikyuu. I also asked for the George Joestar light novel, so I have that and I'm reading that. Yeah, and I just have all this compelling content, this content I really enjoy. Up until this point where I've reached this kind of year mark, there was a lot of doubts like, oh man, is this really working? Which makes it harder to actively immerse too. You're like, is this really going to work? Screw it. I'm just going to play video games. I don't want to do immersion today. But now at this point, it's like, hey, you know what? I've actually improved so much. And I find immersion fun. I can comprehend a ton of stuff. I feel myself getting better. It's really motivating. And it gets easier. It feels like you reach this, or I'm at the crest of this hill where now things are starting to get easier. So if you're just starting this, or you're in your first year of immersion, you're struggling, you're maybe not being as consistent as you'd like to be, just know that I was there too, and it does get easier from here. So yeah, that's like a very rough explanation of my journey so far doing AJATT over this past year. It's really kind of all over the place, but if you have any questions, as always, put them down in the comments and I'll try my best to answer any of them. Thanks for watching.